today we are with one of the specialists in an area that people rarely pay attention to in Nigerian film. People rarely acknowledge that, but again, with the development in Hollywood, Nollywood, movies, with advancement in the field, with the Netflix, the Amazon, the sophisticated online streaming, attention is gradually being moved to this area. So we have the privilege of listening to an expert, and I'm very sure that we're going to gain a lot from our discussion today. But as usual, I would like him to introduce himself. So tell us about you.
Thank you very much. My name is Tosin Victor Amire. I'm a media composer and also a sound designer, and that encompasses the audio post-production side of film production. I have well over 40 feature films to my belt. I get these details. So I have about 16 series. I have 11 animations, 9 TV commercials, and 5 short films to my name. So
That's a lot.
Indeed.
And so these films are all Nigerian produced, or
not necessarily. I've also had a couple of movies that I've worked on outside of the shores of Nigeria. Worked on a project for someone in the UK, like that.
Oh, honestly, that is and I mean, it's kind of surprising because now you just really need out, and then a lot of people don't know what you do. A lot of people are not aware of the contribution. I mean, of course, it's a lot.
Yeah.
But then, so what do you think is responsible for, people not knowing much about your area?
Okay, I will want to bring it home to the Nigerian situation.
Yeah.
Nollywood, as it were. So
Yeah.
I think Hollywood is a very well advanced industry.
Oh yes, people know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but in Nollywood, it's a growing baby. It's a teething baby, and one of the things that people pay attention more to is the picture side of things.
Yes.
So, and that's because we weren't particular about quality. I mean, the industry concerned, but I think we are getting to a stage whereby everybody is coming to terms with what audio is actually doing. I mean, there are studies that have shown that audio is about 50%, if not more.
Probably more. Yeah.
Of the emotional quotient of a movie. So we are getting to that point where people are starting to realize. So I think is a conglomeration of different. It could be education, it could be level of exposure.
Yeah.
But we are getting to that point where they are coming to terms with the role of audio in films.
Yeah. Again, there's something kind of interesting as you were speaking that I noticed.
Okay.
Maybe people know audio.
Okay.
But they don't really appreciate. I mean, they just think it's normal. And then people know. I mean, they're aware of the different components. I mean, different kind of sounds. Anyway, yeah. I mean, if you shoot, you need to listen to the sound.
Yes.
Because I've seen elderly people, uneducated people complain and say, but the gun went off, so why is it just falling now? So again. So I just want to correct the impression I initially created with my question. Yes, people know, but the awareness of the functions or the fact that there is someone behind this, which is where your profession comes in.
Yes. Okay, I will speak in different degree to certain realities that we currently now for audio post-production. It's multifaceted.
Yeah,
there are many layers. You said something about a gun going off, and then maybe you didn't hear the sound, or for example,
or delayed sound.
Delayed sound. Your brain will tell you something is wrong. So it's someone that should be fired. That's a joke anyway.
Exactly.
So we have different expression for audio post-production. We have the dialogue edit. So I want to delineate the point, then I will now stress on the reason why they are not well known.
Yeah.
So dialogue editing is we are talking, we are conversing. Let's say this is a movie shoot.
Yeah.
Someone will have to take our dialogue
Yeah.
and go and edit it,
Yeah.
clean it up, make
Yeah.
it presentable.
Yeah.
So outside, I mean, it's multifaceted, but let's just leave it at that
Yeah.
for the uninitiated mind.
Yeah.
So from there, we have the sound effect. Sound effect is the one that you talked about, the gun now.
Yeah.
So maybe hard effect whereby someone shoots and then you hear the sound of a gunshot.
Yeah.
So Foley will be human interaction with
Yeah.
an object. Maybe you are walking,
Yeah.
someone is behind doing all of those things. Then we have ambience. Just as we are here, there's an AC that is working,
Yeah.
there are car parks.
Yeah.
Someone will go and edit that part.
Wow.
Then we have music. Someone will sit back, compose music.
Yeah.
Then we have a final mixer who brings everything together and mixes it.
Everything.
Now, I've counted like 5, 6, 7 roles.
Yes.
One of our big issue is budget. So how do you cater for 6 people in an industry which is growing? So most times it comes down to one person doing almost all these 6 roles.
And but can one person do that effectively?
It's a very gray area. Some people now, it's an industry where you need to carve a niche for yourself.
Yeah.
I'm a dialogue editor, and that is what I'm known for.
Yeah.
But
how are you going to survive it?
That is where I was going. If you want to eat, if you want to
take care of your family,
you might need to start out understanding and being able to play in all of the roles as one individual. So currently, I also have an outfit that I work with a number of people together. So that if we receive job, you work on dialogue editing, you work on this, you work on that. So everybody is bringing in their creative persona to a project. So it makes it more robust, other than one person speaking to all of the areas of post-production.
Yeah.
So, but we are slowly getting to a point where people now, I also said education also plays a big role.
Yes.
A video editor can stand up tomorrow and say, oh, you know what, I do this, I do that. And the producers are not aware that, no, a video editor role is actually different from an audio, a sound editor. So it's also knowledge gap, budget gap, and a lot of other factors come in play. But I think...
Yeah. So sound editor, video editor, they are distinct. But then I'm kind of thinking in terms of specialization, I mean, do people really have, except in big budget films, Netflix and, Amazon, most of those big, because I'm just thinking, how does one, I mean, carving roles, I mean, sound editing is huge.
Yeah, true.
It requires a lot, the different kind of gadgets, equipment.
Very true.
Video editing is huge.
Has its own gadgets.
And, I'm thinking, I mean, it's so involving.
Yes.
So might this be the reason why in most of those, Hollywood movies, you have so many credit at the end?
Very true.
Even different songs. Those who worked on it, they are acknowledged. And of course, again, this acknowledgement comes with payment anyway.
True.
Which is something different from here.
Okay. So I think you've also answered the question. Some of the reasons why most of our projects are not as much exportable is because of the work that goes into personnel and the involvement of people on the project. You can sell a Black Panther and then it will come here and then you see this $1 million.
Yeah.
It's because they know how much so the result speaks for the process.
Yeah.
Just like they will say the end does not, but in this case, the end might justify the means. So in the case of film, it's a capital intensive project most cases. So in the instance that a film editor, a picture editor is working as a sound person, you would hear the quality because they might have quality gadgets for film, for picture, and not have as much gadget for sound. So while the picture might be very great, you come back to the sound side of things and then it's very wishy-washy. So I think we are getting to that point, and I'm hoping that the move that has started will go on a steady increase, whereby we will see the people coming and investing, even not just to the picture, even also to the audio side of things. And another thing, I think I should also mention this: people are also more gravitated towards what they can see as
Yeah,
such, which is the reason why picture might be getting as much attention than a
much more than the sound.
sound
Yeah,
person.
yeah.
So, but if there is adequate understanding of the role and involvement of different sound personnel on a film project, just maybe we'll get the project or the overall project that is exportable in themselves.
That is that's very, very interesting. And I agree with you. I mean,
Mm,
I can't really agree more because there is always this question, there's always this impression, even for those who are uneducated in
mm,
in the entertainment industry.
mm,
Film is a visual medium,
true.
but then if that is overemphasized, there's nothing.
Mm,
It would be to the detriment of film.
true.
I mean, silent film, okay, but when sound came to complement it, they actually do more than complement in terms of meaning.
Mm,
They have like the categories of sound you've mentioned.
yes,
You have incidental music
true.
that makes you to start expecting certain things to happen. And if that thing doesn't happen, you know something is missing. I mean, it can be a sign of you are creating suspense,
True.
which will lead to bigger and shattering kind of stuff.
Mm.
But when that is missing, and if it's mishandled,
That's also a very valid
which
point.
I think
Mm.
this is, but so how do you as a professional cope with limited resources and I'm sure without being told that whatever you do, you want it to be the best.
Mm.
So tell me the secret.
Good question. It's a race of quality against budget.
Yeah.
Now I have a workaround most cases because there are also different platforms that some of these projects go to. Now for an example, a Netflix original,
Yeah.
they have the budget.
Yeah.
For an Amazon Prime original,
Mhm.
for example,
Yeah.
they have the budget. But for a movie, okay, a cinema a
But
cinema project,
Roger.
they have the budget. But for example, a movie that is going to YouTube, the producer will tell you, it's a YouTube project. We need to find a way around this. So now, for me, I have crafted a workaround. Well, it's not really trade secret, anyways. So usually, I have an amount of, we call them Q, incidental music, just as you've mentioned it. There is an average amount of Q for a feature length project, drama, for example, genre specified. So I can tell a producer, this is how much I would do a queue. And because of your limited budget, this film should take 25. We might need to reduce it to a 15, whereby we don't still lose the emotional impact of the music or the storytelling that we are also trying to achieve with the music. So, and I think I've done it one, two couple of times and it has worked. So around budgeting, we can reduce the work done, but find a way to balance in such a way that you can still follow the story. You don't lose any beat. So that has sort of been my workaround. Another thing that we do, not in great proportion, is to augment the music we are creating with already established royalty-free music. So you can go online, there are different other platforms, pay a token, use their music on your project, more like licensing option.
Yeah.
So in a way, it is reducing the budget stress on the producer, and it is also reducing the workload on my
And
side.
you still have good quality.
Exactly, and I still have good quality. Yeah.
So in other words, so the mixing will still be able to use that to create something original.
So for the mixing is also in varying degree. There is music mixing, there is final mixing.
Music. Yeah.
So whilst you are creating music as a film composer, you've already put all of your stems together.
Yeah.
You've already mixed it so that you can at least all of the elements works together.
Yeah.
So you are creating one cohesive file.
Yeah.
And then at the end of post-production, which is the final mixing, you're now mixing music against dialogue, against sound effect, against ambience, and all of the audio
Audio post-production.
post-production areas. So you still have original content. You still have origin, because you are working, it's a conglomeration of licensed music, and that works with the
That works with
picture,
the picture, yeah.
and as well music that you have created. So you're looking for a creative way to balance both. So a good example will be, let's say, an epic Yoruba project,
Project, yeah.
and then you are bringing in a music like God of Throne. Dun, 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 dun. They are like word apart.
Yeah.
So you need a type of music, traditional music, that will speak to the nature of the project. So it's also wisdom on the part of the film composer to know the choice of the choice of music that will be licensed for the project. So at the end of the day, you still end up with an original project, albeit on a budget.
Yeah, because I think that's very, very important,
Yeah,
because you need to work across a
exactly.
broad spectrum,
Mm,
especially in a place like Nigeria.
true.
I
Very
mean,
true.
the amount of work you can get at this on a good budget, they are limited.
Very true.
And then so you need to. But then let me ask this question: in a situation where you have modernity
Mm,
and you have tradition, and some of these films actually straddles both.
true.
They have elements of modernity, elements of tradition. So how do you navigate that?
Mm. Okay, I'm not sure if this question cuts across spirituality as
Both.
well.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Because that's a very important aspect
yeah.
of,
I've
aspect of what I'm saying. Yeah.
I've worked on, on some projects like that, and that's also because I love native African music.
Music.
As much as I'm an Hollywood and Zima,
Mm.
the top Hollywood guys,
Yeah.
listen to their project, I still love the sound of our native
Native
music.
music.
And a good example will also be not Caribbean now. I'm trying to look for the word. Then Puerto Rico Latin music, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the percussion style of, according to academics
Yeah.
anyway, is also deeply rooted in
In their
African music
yeah,
actually.
yeah.
So I borrow elements. So to me, music is indeed a medium. But if you also, on the flip side, it's also a professional, it's also something that requires adequate knowledge. So I, and then I went to Unilag. I also obtained a degree in a postgraduate degree in music, and then we were taught African arts music. And then one of our lecturer was making us realize that the fact that African art music is not necessarily incanting Shango and bringing him into. We are trying to study how they went about creating
Creating
that
their
type of
music.
music. And then how can we take of that knowledge? So now, on my own part, I'm taking it further because I went there to also study some aspect of music and how it relates to film. So I'm taking that knowledge. How can I, with this knowledge of the culmination of, for example, Shango music,
Yeah.
how can I build upon that and bring it to a film music whereby I still do not lose the emotional impact? So for me, there is a balance between being a professional film musician and also I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
I'm a Christian, but I also see film as an avenue to express your creative tendencies.
Yes.
So I'm attacking film in that regard. How can I better the African story? How can I better tell? If I don't say it, who will? Will I have? A good example would be Black Panther.
Yeah.
Ludwig Göransson, he was the one that scored. Now, Black Panther was set somewhere in Africa.
Yeah. in the past.
vibranium. Thank
Yeah,
you. Exactly.
yeah,
You would have expected that an African film composer
yeah.
should, but
So
then when nobody is taking up the role of, so if I don't do it, if I don't speak to the music and give it what it needs, because I'm a son of the soil,
yeah,
I know what a conga will do as
yeah.
an
As
African,
an yeah,
say better than someone that studied it in school.
yeah,
There are several. Okay.
yeah. I mean, I'm seeing what you're saying. Yeah.
I'm also trying
Mm,
to, because I've gone far and wide in my studies in music. I have a man that I've worked with that we talked about some Ifa mythology.
mm-hmm.
As much as I'm also a Christian, I try
Yeah.
to
I
explore.
mean,
And
this
then,
is culture. Yeah.
exactly, exactly.
So we can take it. We can take the fact that the knowledge can be
And
very helpful.
thank
It
you very
doesn't
much.
distract from
From where
your
we are
belief,
coming
your Christianity.
from,
Yeah.
yeah. And then it said something about agogo,
Mm,
that, and then shekere. And I will quote one of the
mm,
Yoruba,
mm,
"Wọ́n ń lu ṣẹ̀kẹ̀rẹ̀
mm,
níbi ẹkún."
mm,
So these are some of the things that you can
mm.
take and use to as a background for improvisation. Say you are writing film, for example, a Kunle Afolayan epic
Yeah,
production,
project. Yeah.
and then everybody is
Yeah.
dancing. You know that a shekere has to be present. So I'm not sure if I derail, but where I'm going, let me just bring everything home. Is there's an intellectual aspect to film music. I don't disregard the fact that sound can also be a medium. You can convey emotions through
Through
sound,
sound. Yeah.
but I've found a balance whereby I don't allow the knowledge I've garnered in certain area that the world might term as dark to hamper my belief. I take some knowledge as intellectual knowledge that I can apply in my film business and in my film career,
Mm,
and the fact that I also need to represent Africa as the
yeah.
son of the
As
soil.
the son of that.
So it's a balance. I mean, a number of people might not be able to achieve it, and I have a ton of story in the regard. But I think I'll cap this here. I don't know if I did justice or if you still.
Maybe you did justice because the thing is this. I mean, you're doing. I mean, what it means is that you really understand the function of music.
Yes.
So you know the intellectual
Mm,
aspect, the traditional aspect. You're trying to the
emotional.
emotional aspect, and the fusion, the effective fusion of these would actually create a better impact.
Very true.
Because if you don't know how to utilize it, it will reduce its functionality
Yeah, the
and
impact.
effectiveness. I mean, music is much more than just jollification and people
Very
dancing.
true.
Because the reason why I'm saying this is when we're thinking about jazz,
Mm,
you know that jazz is, I mean, it can take you, can transport you to, you see people who really enjoy jazz, you see, merely listening to it makes a lot of difference.
mm,
So, and African music can do a lot of that.
true.
You're talking about this go, the pagege, I don't know what you
Mm,
call it, and the gong and all these things. They do a lot of things
true.
in traditional music.
Mm,
In fact, they can, and I think this is why I quickly emphasize it that your profession doesn't accept because they form they affect the spiritual too.
true. True.
So how do you balance this as a Christian? I mean, because they can really, if you are to score music for a traditional film, for instance,
Mm,
and so how do you do that without that okay, this thing can really can really lead to a lot of, for instance, I don't know whether you've seen I mean, no, I think Seven Doors.
yes. Yes.
The Esusu scene for me it's a very powerful one, especially the character of that person, the kind of way he relates, and I think music, you know, contributes a lot to the effectiveness of if you like his idiosyncrasies,
Mm,
something that tends towards spirituality.
mm.
And of course, again, this is a film, but I'm just thinking. So how do you, if you were to do stuff like that, how do you handle it?
Okay. Now, thank you again for
Mm,
bringing me back to this question.
mm,
And I think I have a clear thought and direction in the
mm,
regard. Most of what we do or term as evil might be of a result of lack of knowledge.
Mm.
Now, I say this because a number of us will embrace Greek mythology, Athena, Zeus, what's this god of thunder? Um,
We talk about Dionysos. We talk
exactly,
about, yeah,
Poseidon
yeah,
and the likes. And
yeah,
then you can also come to the I'm trying to Ragnarok. I'm trying to
yeah.
remember the Finland. They have a mythology as well.
Mm.
Odin.
Hmm.
Uh, the same thing. We see some of those movies.
Yeah,
We enjoy them.
yeah,
We see some of Zeus's movie,
yeah.
we enjoy it.
Yes.
But when we now have a Shango movie, it now almost seems like, are you not a Christian?
Yeah.
And then the conversation comes to the fore. Now, what I think in all of this also have, if you are really deep as a Christian, and I know that this conversation is not about belief,
Believe, yeah.
but since we
It's
are
about music,
exactly
yeah.
since we are on this question,
Yeah.
if you dig deep, you will also understand that there are also instances where some of these folks are being mentioned in the Bible.
Yes.
I will cap that there. Now,
Yeah.
I'm also saying the I don't want to sound like I'm preaching, but I might have to get into it a
No
little.
problem.
All right. The I've heard of instances where people were criticizing the father of Fela,
Yeah.
Anikulapo.
Yeah.
His father was a traditionalist.
And a composer
I
of
heard
Christian music. Yeah.
he was a composer
Yeah.
of music, and what he did was found a way to rewrite some of the music that they did, and then make it Christian
Hmm.
ish,
Yeah.
Christianized it.
Yes.
People will come for
Yeah.
him. People came for him at the
At that
time.
time, yeah.
But now, those are some of the songs that we are singing.
Some of the best,
Some
actually.
of the best songs
Yeah.
that we are
People
singing.
forgot about the history.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there is also I might not want to do a shout out to
Mm.
him now because I mean he's not paid.
Mhm.
There is a song I have decided to follow Jesus
Jesus. Yeah.
that one guy refixed and people are still coming for him. So I say all of these things and I'm think okay. I think all of these things stem from a place of balance, a balance in understanding what you are bringing to the film, the impact in the film, and how you are contributing the intellect that you know, that you have garnered over the years into the film
Into the film.
with an understanding that it doesn't take away from my being a Christian, from my being a Muslim. It's just like making a good example would be a carpenter saying, I'm not doing carpentry work for you because I'm a Muslim and you're a Christian.
Yeah.
It doesn't make
It
sense.
doesn't make
They
sense.
are
Yeah.
offering their intellectual
And they're
their
professional.
professionalism,
Yeah.
what they have garnered over the years to create for you a product. The same thing applies to me. What I have garnered, I have done plenty studies. I've gone, as much as I understand Greek mythology, because Thor, who is the god of thunder,
Yeah.
can also be likened to the Shango,
Yeah.
which is also who is also the god of
God of
thunder.
thunder. Yeah.
So these two guys have entity, they are different studies in the same regard. So I've done studies, this is who you are, that is what you are, this is the music that accompanies, okay, let me take the learning, what do I want to add to it? Do I want to acculturate the music with a Western instrument,
Yeah.
whereby it is generally accepted African, and then it can also be exported Hollywood wide? So
Yeah.
everything I'm saying now is purely from an intellectual
Intellectual perspective. Yeah.
perspective,
Yeah.
and this is also because I know how to weave my way around emotion, which is what I'm trying to achieve. If the music can get you to cry, can get you to sit up, can get you
To
I've done
think.
to
Yeah.
think.
You've done
Thank
your
you.
job.
I've done my job as a
Yeah.
film composer.
Yeah. And I think I honestly, again, I think I agree with you because when you know you're intentional about what you do,
True.
you know the function, you know the basis, you know how to manipulate. Because emotion plays such a huge part
Very, very.
in the movie, and that's why people follow. And of course, the next question I want to ask is, so how do you go into scoring for a project, for
Okay.
instance? I mean, I'm a writer, I've done the script, and a producer say, hey, I want to produce this. Can you take me through the
Fantastic,
process? Yeah.
fantastic. I love this
No,
question.
yeah.
So the process of film scoring is also like storytelling.
Hmm.
You are adding another layer with the music to the film.
Hmm.
Now, and this is what I mean. Usually, when I get projects like that, and one of the good thing, one of the advantage, or one of the things I love about writing music for film is you don't know what you are going to do until you get into the work, and that's
Hmm.
because you don't know what is going to be. I mean, you can read a script
Yeah.
and then eventually see what is being
All
produced,
this.
and then you have a totally different perspective. So again, I digress. Let me go to the
Yeah,
process. So
yeah. I mean,
okay,
that's a
okay,
very good one
okay.
because you're talking about interpretation now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is also a very key, which is very key to film scoring. Now,
Hmm.
one of the things, for example, and I'm going to use an example that we can digest.
Yeah.
Say there's a character, he's the protagonist
Yeah.
of the project,
Yeah.
and he lives different in, okay, for example, in the movie, there was a time where it was boisterous,
Mm-hmm.
money
Mm-hmm.
flowing everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
and then at some point he didn't invest, and then he
He
was
squandered
lavish,
everything.
exactly, and
Yeah.
then he got to a point he fell to an all-time low. Now I've cited three instances for
Yeah.
one
For one.
protagonist.
Yeah.
Now what music achieves to do is to tell the story with the character such that you can listen to the music without seeing the picture and still get the story. Now, a good practical way to go around this is there's usually what we call a leitmotif.
Yeah.
That's like a
Motive.
melody that stays with the character. So I'm trying to think of a popular leitmotif. I don't know if we know Jaw.
I know Jaws.
Oh,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Jaws, yeah. John Williams, yeah,
Yeah.
Jaws. The leitmotif is da, da, da,
Mm,
da, da, da,
mm,
and that was what went about the movie. So in the case of what I'm citing, there's a particular melody that the character that is particular to a character. So
mm,
when it's boisterous, you write a particular large music that feels happy around that melody.
mm,
So what you are doing is you are saying that this melody is the character, the accompanying music is the situation that we find the character.
mm.
At the point where it's squandering the music, maybe there is we are still maintaining the same melody,
Yeah.
but we are now writing a music around it that speaks to him squandering the
Riches.
resources that he has. Now, when he's at the all-time low, you have the same melody
Hmm.
because it's still the same
Yeah.
protagonist, but you now have a music that speaks. It might be a sad music
Yeah.
that you now write around that same melody. So by that, we are maintaining the same person, but we are changing the music around them based on the situation
Situations.
part time in the film. So this is like a very, I mean,
Yeah.
there is the
The,
creative practical
yeah.
side that you have to rack your head as to what to write,
Yeah.
the choice of melody, the choice of instrument, the choice of note. But this is kind of like a breakdown, a quick breakdown of what the
So what
film
the
music
film music, right?
achieves, yeah, tend to achieve.